For years, the Bloodline has been the most dominant faction in WWE, a family empire built on loyalty, intimidation, and absolute control under the rule of the tribal chief Roman Reigns. But after what went down at Crown Jewel 2025 and the chaos that followed on Monday Night Raw, that empire now appears to be on the verge of collapse. Roman Reigns has always prided himself on being the head of the table, the undisputed leader who demands respect not just from his opponents, but from his own bloodline. But this time, it wasn't an outsider challenging his authority. It was family. Jey Uso, the one man who has both stood by Roman's side and defied him on the grandest stages, found himself once again caught in a storm of family drama, betrayal, and explosive emotions. The Crown Jewel incident that lit the fuse. At WWE Crown Jewel 2025 in Riyadh, chaos reigned during one of the most anticipated matches of the night, a massive multi-man bout that featured the Bloodline in action. Roman Reigns, accompanied by Solo Sikoa, was set to make yet another statement of dominance, but everything went south in a heartbeat. Midway through the match, a miscommunication between Reigns and Jey Uso caused a devastating mistake. A superkick from Jey accidentally connected with Roman instead of their opponent. The crowd gasped in disbelief. The look on Reigns' face told the whole story. Shock, anger, and betrayal all rolled into one. The moment of confusion gave their opponents just enough of an opening to capitalize. Reigns took a devastating blow, and for the first time in months, the tribal chief was pinned in the center of the ring. The camera captured Reigns' icy stare as he glared at Jey after the loss. No words, no movement, just that piercing, furious silence. Fans knew right then that this wasn't over. Roman's cold warning on Raw. Less than 24 hours later on Monday Night Raw, the tension boiled over. The show opened with the Bloodline's ominous music, and Roman Reigns walked down the ramp in his signature black suit and gold lei, flanked by Solo Sikoa. The expression on his face was cold and unyielding, a storm brewing behind calm eyes. When he entered the ring, Reigns didn't start with his usual slow, methodical speech about dominance. Instead, he went straight to the point. "I told you all before," he said, his voice low and sharp. "Family is everything. But when family forgets who's in charge, that's when things fall apart." He paused, glaring into the camera before calling out one name: Jey Uso. The crowd erupted as Jey's music hit. He walked to the ring cautiously, microphone in hand, wearing a serious look. This wasn't the same confident main event Jey Uso fans were used to. This was a man walking into a storm. A family argument on live television. Inside the ring, Roman and Jey stood face to face. The tension was so thick you could feel it through the screen. Reigns took a step closer, looking his cousin dead in the eye. "You kicked me," Roman said coldly. "You embarrassed the Bloodline. You embarrassed me." Jey tried to explain, saying it was an accident, that he didn't mean to cost Roman the match, but the tribal chief wasn't having it. He cut him off with a shout that echoed across the arena. "Accident? You think the head of the table falls by accident?" The audience gasped as Reigns' voice boomed with fury. Solo Sikoa, standing behind Roman, looked ready to explode himself, glaring at Jey with intensity. Jey tried to keep his composure, saying, "You know me, Uso. I've always had your back. I fought for this family when nobody else would. You think I wanted that to happen?" Roman shook his head slowly, disappointment dripping from his tone. "You forgot your place, Jey. I made you main event Jey Uso. I gave you purpose. Without me, you're nothing but one half of a tag team that got left behind." Those words hit hard. The audience could see Jey's jaw tighten, his eyes flashing with anger. Jey Uso snaps. Back, for the first time in months, Jey fired back. He stepped forward, chest to chest with Reigns, and shouted, "You didn't make me, Uso. I made myself. You might be the tribal chief, but you're not my boss anymore." The crowd erupted in cheers as Roman's expression darkened. The moment felt like déjà vu. A flashback to 2020 when the cousins had clashed in one of WWE's most emotional rivalries. History was repeating itself, only this time, the tension was even deeper. Roman took a step back, shaking his head slowly, before saying with chilling calmness, "You think you can stand without me? Then prove it." He turned toward Solo Sikoa and nodded, a silent signal. Solo's attack and the chaos that followed. Before Jey could react, Solo Sikoa struck, delivering a crushing Samoan spike that sent Jey sprawling to the mat. The crowd erupted in boos as Roman looked on, expressionless. The tribal chief then leaned down, his voice barely above a whisper but picked up clearly by the camera. "You wanted to do this your way, Uso? Now you deal with the consequences." He dropped the microphone and walked out of the ring, leaving Jey motionless on the mat as Solo stood over him like an enforcer guarding his king's message. It wasn't just a warning. It was a declaration of war. Backstage fallout. The bloodline fractures. Further, after the segment, WWE cameras caught up with Jey Uso backstage being tended to by medical staff. He was furious, pushing away assistants and demanding to see Roman. "You don't put your hands on family," he shouted. "He crossed the line." This isn't the bloodline anymore. This is Roman's ego trip. Reports from backstage claim that tensions between Jey and Solo continued even after the cameras stopped rolling, with producers and referees forced to separate them. Meanwhile, Roman Reigns reportedly left the arena early, refusing interviews and telling officials, "I said what I needed to say." Fans react. The Bloodline. Civil War 2.0. Social media exploded after the segment aired. The hashtag #BloodlineExplodes trended worldwide, with fans speculating about what comes next. Some fans believe Jey will finally challenge Roman again for the undisputed championship, while others think this could lead to an even bigger family war involving Jimmy Uso's return.